Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider. This is a series of episodes that will broaden both your perspective and your relationship with your horse. Throughout this unique TV series, you'll watch horse whisperer Gary Douglas work with various horse owners who have issues and problems with their horses at clinics held around the world. Owners will develop a new understanding and awareness of techniques to deal with their horses and gain a new perspective in understanding how their horses perceive the world. What would it be like if you knew your horse was conscious? This program will offer you tools and techniques to help you with being a better rider, get better results with your horse, and give your horse more comfort and the ability to move and use himself. You'll see some hands-on processes that will help you be a better rider and have a better relationship with your horse. In our last episode in Texas, you saw an amazing transformation of a thoroughbred whose owner was terrified of him to the point she'd never ridden him. By the end of the weekend, she had formed a new bond and relationship with her horse and was riding him for the first time. Gary and some of his associates now traveled to southern Utah, to the spectacular foothills of St. George, Utah, to work with an interesting assortment of horses with a variety of issues. The clinic was hosted by the Lazy C Performance Horse Ranch. They had the opportunity to work with horses that had been previously injured, horses with lameness, head-tossing issues, and more. But first, Gary talks to the group about the gift the horse provides to us and the dynamics of herd activity.
They're really a gift to us. One of the points of view I have that I would like to share with you is these horses are truly gifters. Okay, what they try and do is gift to us. They want us to get that they contribute energy to us in our bodies. They are a healing element of our lives. And so one of the things that people make the mistake of is think that they're just going for a ride or they're going to be taken for a ride. The reality is you're not going to be taken for a ride. You're not going for a ride. You are being gifted to. If you look at a horse, you got a horse that's 800 to 1,500 pounds. Who's riding who? It's like, could you really out muscle? No, they allow you to do what you do with them as a gift. They gift to us all the time. And if we start to recognize this, it starts to change the way in which the horses function with us and the way in which they, will contribute to our lives. And the one thing about horses is they are contributors. Okay, now what do I mean by that? A horse is a herd animal, and their whole perspective is about how they can contribute to the herd. That's what they consider their job. They don't consider that they are an individual, they consider they are part of the herd. There's a hierarchy in the horse community, and the alpha mare is the one who's in charge, and you have to be willing to be that alpha mare. With stallions, it's like they don't often kill each other. That's a misnomer we get from the movies. The reality is they do slap hands. Who can hit the fastest is the one that wins, and that's the swift survive, the slow die in the horse community. That's what they were designed to be. The swift survive and the slow, die. And so if you get that, it's like you have to be a little faster with your horse than not, then what happens is you have a much better relationship with your horse because you can out-quicken him if you're willing to be aware. So I want you to get this point of view because it's real important to recognize you have to create the hierarchy, otherwise the horse will walk over you. And you got a lot, you got a 1,200-pound horse walking on top of you, not cute. I've watched people haul on horses continuously trying to keep them down. You can't outmaneuver a horse. He outweighs you, 5 to 7 times. So it's like you got to learn how to be quick and make the right movements to get them to be aware of you.
Gary's first horse has normally been a reliable riding horse, but for the past several months has been exhibiting unusual behavior.
So this is King, and King is right next door to Stormy. He's a little protective of her. He's been real reliable when we ride him. He's been just steady as can be, and just the last month or so, he's been stepping sideways and acting crazy, and we found big rocks in his corral. We're thinking that one possibility could be that somebody's been throwing rocks at him because all of a sudden the nature just changed like that. And so his owner has been riding Stormy instead, and he was real excited that we were going to bring him out here today.
Gary works him in a circle to assess his movement and behavior. Gary suspects as a result of the gelding's behavior that he may have an entity. Gary also feels his zone may be collapsed.
The zone is the level of awareness a horse has. And if there are severe conditions, that could be like having rocks thrown at you, could be an example. Okay? And it's like, and what they do is they stop being aware of the space, and they start becoming more compacted. As they become more compacted, their energy and who they are changes. They stop being who they actually are. So it's like what we want to do is we want to ask a couple of questions here. So do you want to hold him for just a minute? The alpha, mare, okay? Is his zone collapsed? Yes? No? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, good. So his zone has been collapsed. How that occurred, not sure.
Okay.
That had occurred. So what we're going to do is I'm going to step out here as far as I need to step out until I get to the outside edge of where his zone is, and I've stretched his zone out a bit. And then we'll undo everything that caused it to happen. Okay? All right. Now, feel any difference in it? Does he feel it all different? Calmer. Yeah. So he's a lot calmer as a result of that. Okay? He's also more willing to pay attention. He's watching things now in a way he didn't before, but without the, like before he was trying to get back to Stormy because it was like that was more important. Now he's actually present here with us. Is there an entity here? What do you get? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Entities. If an animal is misbehaving or behaving in a way not typical of the breed, you can expect an entity. When you have no reason to have a problem and it keeps showing up, it is oftentimes an entity that is creating the behavior or injury.
Okay, human or other? That. What do you get? Human?
Other.
Other. Okay, so is there, so what kind of animal is in here? Okay, so what's the value of holding on to this body?
Back.
Anybody getting a picture of what this animal might be?
Oh.
Is this a dog, a cat, a raccoon, a wild animal, or a domestic animal?
The process to remove entities is to perceive the energy of the entities, as questions are asked in reference to the present, the past, and the future. This first gets the attention of the entities, then brings an awareness of being in the past, which brings to their attention they are no longer stuck in this time and are free to choose to move on with the awareness of a future. Gary works with King to remove the entity.
So what kind of body did you have before you took on this one? Good. What kind of body did you have before that? What kind of body did you have before that? What kind of body did you have before that? And what kind of body will you have in the future? Okay? Sounds strange. Okay. Anybody feel any difference in the animal? Yeah. Suddenly you feel more space. So it's like it could be that there was some animal that was around him that collapsed his zone as well. Okay? All right, now let's see if he'll let me work on it. Okay, you gonna let me work on you? Can I work on you? Can I work on you? Good, okay?
After removing the entity, Gary shows the group how to administer MTVSS. This stands for Molecular Terminal Valence Sloughing System.
All right, so this is the MTVSS we're gonna do here. Anybody wanna learn this? Mm-hmm. Who wants to learn it? Come up on the other side. Okay, ask him if it's all right if you put your hands on him. Okay, good. And there, and here. This is MTVSS and all the rest. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, 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 all that crazy stuff I say, all that crazy stuff I say. Okay, there you go. Feel that energy?
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely.
All right, so there we go. All right. And watching, because his eyes are already starting to blink. He's going, what the hell are you guys doing to me?
I feel that.
Just so you know, normally King will not stand still to let anybody touch him. He moves away.
Yeah. Okay. And when they start blinking their eyes and they start, moving their lips like that, that means they're relaxing, giving in, starting to connect up in a different way.
Gary works King again, and the group sees some improvement in his movement and his focus.
Can you see the muscles now?
Yeah. That's not the hard line. That is really neat. Oh, yeah.
See how he has an indentation where his spine is now, and instead of his spine sticking out, there's an indentation there, which is what you want. You want the horse to have that. And notice as he moves, it's like the muscle structure across his back moves across the back there as well as down lower. So he actually has more of himself available.
On the second day of the clinic, King exhibits much more freedom of movement, more relaxation, and improved temperament.
Okay, let's go the other direction. Okay, you want to go the other direction, huh? Come on. Come on. Come on. Happy? He was just happy. That was fun. That's all it was.
Gary's next horse exhibits lameness and stiffness in its movement.
Okay, all right, so I want you to watch something here, okay? Okay, now turn him in the other direction, please. Okay, you see any difference in that area? Now basically,
He assesses the horse and observes its movement, and has the group apply MTVSS.
okay, and this, in this area here is kind of restricted. Ow. Okay, so this would be another one of these MTVSS areas if one of you would like to come up and try this. Okay, look at his eyes. It's like he's going, oh yeah, that's starting to feel really good. So that's a sign when they start to blink like that and they start to get all fuzzy-eyed. That's a sign that they're releasing so much, and it actually makes their body feel better. It's like a horse, any animal in truth, wants to feel good. They're not like us. They don't have to hold on and examine their stuff to let go of it. Watch the horse sleep. See, that's a sign of the kind of relaxation that's going on in his body. And it's an energy we all have. And all it is accessing, which is why we call it accessing the places in us where this energy is available to all of us.
After about 20 minutes of this process, Gary sees if there is improvement. There is some. But Gary invites Susie Godsey to work with him on a process called ESSE, or Energetic Synthesis of Structural Embodiment. This dynamic and transformative work is designed to return balance to both the physical and energetic systems of the horse.
Okay, now the horse is going to be, a little strange about this. Devon, could you hold him so that I can be prepared in case he decides to move suddenly, and that way I can help Susie off? So far, none of the horses ever objected to this.
When the equine body is released into balance, all organ and physiological systems have an increased ability to function and heal, and there is a notable increase in the efficiency and fluidity of movement. Developed by Susie Godsey and Jason Rabineau, you can see more of the amazing results achieved with this process in another episode of our series at a thoroughbred training facility in Florida, where racehorses were worked on to improve movement and length of stride.
Well, he's kind of changing his shape here. Okay, he's looking more comfortable to me. What I see is he's like starting to feel and look like he has some comfort with his body. His back end doesn't feel like it's so tucked. You can tell he doesn't like this and he doesn't want to continue. Here, let me just put my head here on your shoulder.
On the second day of the clinic, our paint horse exhibits much more freedom of movement after his treatment, as he runs at liberty around the arena. There is almost no evidence of the stiffness and soreness exhibited the day before.
Yeah.
But probably the most dramatic change in horse behavior came from Stormy, a conflicted mare whose behavior would be considered dangerous by any standard. Stormy seems to have a total disregard for the handler and has little respect for the handler's space. She also has a propensity for rearing.
You wanted a show? Oh, man.
Hey, pay attention to me. Whoa. 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 Come here. Oh. You're a brat.
That's what I was telling you.
She doesn't have any manners. And she's just, no. She's just belligerent. Okay, this horse wants to walk over you, okay? And notice she doesn't look at you. She looks anywhere but at you. You have no connection to this horse, okay?
Gary firmly believes the mare has an entity and works to remove it.
Come here. Come.
Just be aware that her trick is that she tends to rear. You've done that, so.
A horse will normally have some fear of people. When a horse has no fear of people, you got a pretty good chance you got an entity in there, and most likely a human entity. So let's talk about what's going on here. This horse has an entity in her, okay? So we're going to remove the entity. So, is it a human entity or an other entity?
It's a human entity.
Human, okay, so who are you? Who were you before you took this body? Who are you before that? Who are you before that? Who are you before that? Who will you be in the future? Okay? Okay, now notice she just looked at Patricia for the first time. Okay? She was not looking at her before. Now she's looking. See, the eyes are actually on her. Where before she wasn't willing to look at her, she was throwing her head away from her and paying no attention.
The second day of the clinic, and Stormy seems to be a completely different horse. So much so that Gary invites Michelle to saddle up and ride Stormy. The differences are profound. Just yesterday, Stormy exhibited behavior that could be dangerous to several of the handlers and nearly took Gary's head off. Today, Stormy is calm, collected, and sensible. A completely different horse and a pleasure to ride.
It's weird, but it works. Cool. Happier? Yeah. Notice the teeth, okay?
I put my fingers back in my pocket.
Thank you. That was great. Okay, so you just have to practice that. You got the idea now, just practice. Okay, so take her out there and play with her a little bit.
For the horses in St. George, this has been a good weekend. If you have problems with horses that seem unresolvable, you may be interested in hosting a clinic where Gary can apply and teach participants in these techniques and methods of dealing with physical, psychological, and behavioral issues. In an upcoming episode, Gary and his team will travel to Costa Rica to tackle a new set of challenges with the horses of Central America. Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider. A new paradigm for better equine relationships.